Stop going through my wife's underwear drawer. Stop it.
Well, don't give me the keys to your house when you leave.
Get it straight, Buster. I'm not here to say please. I'm here to tell you what to do. And if self-preservation is an instinct you possess, you better do it, and do it quick. I'm here to help. If my help's not appreciated, then lots of luck, gentlemen. If I'm curt with you, it's because time is a factor. I think fast, I talk fast. I need you guys to act fast if you want to get out of this. So, pretty please, with sugar on top. Listen to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. Right
You
on
sound-
top
you
of my
sound-
head, I've got
you
ladies
sound-
and
you
gentlemen
sound-
right on the top of my
You
head.
sound tired too, and you sound way.
You know, you've been on vacation for the last 10 days. I've been working. I've been playing tons of weddings on the weekends and doing the day job and everything. But I want to hear about the national parks. How was everything?
Oh, it was crazy, amazing. I have some great pictures. We have to figure out how to put. I wish I knew how to do anything technology wise. I just don't. I got to post. I think I posted a couple of things on the on our community board over at Facebook, but I'll make sure that we do that on this go round. I have the growing beard. Did you see I actually grew a beard during vacation?
I saw that. Yes, there's a lot of gray in there.
Oh
Doug,
my
a lot of
gosh,
gray.
my entire neck, almost up to my bottom lip, is completely gray. And you figure, for a guy that's 25 like me, it should it should not be that gray.
Well, we haven't introduced ourselves. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone is Mr. Doug Sandler. We are the Nice Guys on Business. And for those of you who don't know, Doug just spent, 10 days doing national parks tours?
10 amazing days, a carry-on bag, and basically no clothes the entire time. Oh my gosh, so many great stories to tell. I couldn't possibly get into them all now, but my son is 20 and he is a junior at a local college here in Maryland. And we've just never spent any big quantity time together. I mean, we spend some quality time when we hang out on the weekends or whatever, but this was the first time in his entire life that we actually just went away, the two of us. And what an amazing experience. So much great bonding. The National Park System, surprisingly so for a group of employees that are all federal employees. Mm-hmm. Man, the people that work in the park system, they want to work there. They love it. They love it. It's just nature is their thing. And for them to have a job, they don't even care about the money. I know they don't, because I had a conversation, a couple of them, about just how do you make a living at this? And it sounds really cool, but is there any, and they all got down to the basic things. This is just like their dream job. They love to fish. They love nature. They love the mountains. They love the view. They love the sunsets and the sunrise and the lakes and they just love everything. How can you not? It was just such a beautiful experience. And we'll talk about it in terms of like some great customer service things I saw along the way. Just some great times with my son, and you can't beat that. Have you ever had a chance to go away with your girls, all of them?
No, well, we've done a cruise a couple of times, but they're off running off on their own. When you were doing your trip, did you do Bryce Canyon National Park?
No, the three parks that we did Glacier National Park up in Montana, way, way close to the border crossing. As a matter of fact, they tried to go over the border without a passport. Not a good idea. They don't like that. They don't mind that as you go to Canada, but when you come back to the United States, they do not like you at all when you come back. I think they call it, I can't remember what the word was, but I was disobedient. My son was so pissed at me. I'm like, come on, let's just try to go over the border. I'll just tell them that all we have is a driver's license, and then they let you through. Yeah. But when you come back, the United States hates that. They can't stand it. They have to do extra paperwork, and not that there was a single person in line behind me. Mm-hmm. They just didn't want to have to deal with the trouble, and I kind of get it. But
safety first. That's the TSA. The TSA, man, they've been getting a lot of grief lately. And the Border Patrol, they got to protect us.
Yeah, I guess so. And I did look a little bit shady with my 14-day-old beard or whatever it was. So
now I got a friend of mine, Ashley, who used to work at a Bryce National Park. She was there for, 3 or 4 months at least. And she lived at the park, basically. You live in the cabins and everything. She loved the job. Yeah,
so we went to Glacier, we went to Yellowstone, which I really do consider. I enjoyed Yellowstone, but it's more like the Disney of the national park system. So freaking crowded the entire time we were there. When we were at Glacier, we had the park all to ourselves, so it seemed. And then we came all the way south into Wyoming, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where Grand Tetons is located. And we did some fishing. We got caught in this huge rain and hailstorm, and my son came down with a very nice case of hypothermia during the. So we had to abandon our fishing trip about 4 hours into it. Still, we were in the middle. You never realize how vulnerable you are until you're actually in the middle of nowhere. The rain is pouring, hail comes, the temperature drops about 20 or 25 degrees, and there's just nothing but you and 6 bald eagles. It was really scary, but our guide, Captain Cody from our ship Eddie, he was just a wonderful guy. I think an early 30-something guy, really took control, showed great leadership, got us through it. And when we got off the boat at the end, it was only the 3 of us. So when we got off the boat at the end, he said, "Hey, I didn't want to tell you this while we were on the boat, but just so you know, the boat was taking on a huge amount of water. I was a little afraid."
Oh my God.
He said, "I've never been caught in a rainstorm." He's been doing this for almost 15 years. He's never been caught in a rainstorm that was quite that heavy and that fast.
Wow.
It turned the Snake. We were on the Snake River. It turned the Snake River into a really crazy experience to participate in. But we as it ended up, it probably is one of those things that, looking back, really amazing experience. When you're in the middle of it, it's like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm very curious what our Nice Guys listeners, what our community thinks about that, not just that specific situation, but doing a tour of national parks. Because for me personally, I couldn't think of anything more fucking boring. I mean, if I were with my daughters, it would make it interesting, and the bonding would be great. But oh my God, national parks for 10 days. Oh, look at the pretty trees.
Yeah, but Strick,
look, there's more pretty trees.
But you just hit it on the head. You said, aside from the fact there'd be some bonding and stuff with your girls, it would be fun. Adam is a photographer, and I really loved watching him experience all of these things. I mean, just capturing the sunset at Grand Tetons. It was a 3-day experience. One day we just didn't have a chance to get out. The second day, the weather was really crappy. The third day, we finally got it. And there's this one spot in the park which is like iconic for the sunset. And the picture. This is the one I will post for you guys at on the Nice Guy Community page over at Facebook. You just can't, there's no filter on this thing, and it just looks like this amazing color. And I know that that's just not your thing, but when you see something that makes your son so proud, in my case, in your case, your girls would have been like, oh my gosh, if they were into whatever, photography or graphic design or whatever, this amazing experience just unfold in front of you, and you watch how mature they are in handling the experience. That to me was really everything that the trip was all about. Just watching all of these experiences my son had for the first time. I mean, it was great. I see your point, though. I know.
If I'm on a 10-day vacation with my girls, I can go to places I find way more interesting and spend a day at the national park and get the same experience, or 2 days at a national park in 2 different places. But hey, to each his own. That's what it's all about. Yeah, I'm curious what our Nice Guy community thinks.
11.5 hour drive from Salt Lake City, where we landed, to our first destination. Yeah, it was kind of a long drive.
11.5 hours in the car. Why didn't you just fly somewhere closer or go to a closer national park?
We really wanted to go to that park. Not many closer places that were anywhere close to the same expense. And I did not realize that my son can rap to almost every Drake song that is out there. My son, he's a 20-something Jewish white kid from Baltimore, the suburb of Baltimore, and he's singing the ghetto songs from. It's so that was a fun experience.
We're 10 minutes in, and we really haven't even gotten to anything yet except just shooting the shit. So
how does that differ from
any other podcast? No, it's true. At least we usually get a sponsor or talk about our call to action at least a little earlier than this, and then get into like running off on tangents. But, we want you guys to go, and we're going to be doing a live podcast. If you had not heard already, if you're a new listener, or if you missed that last episode that we did, we're going to be doing a live podcast, and we all want you to join in, but only the first 100 of you. So what you got to do is you got to go to DougSandler.com, and you got to find the link that says join the Nice Guy community. So we know that you are a listener of ours. We're never going to spam you. We're never going to sell your email, anything like that. But There's a little box on there that says, I want to participate in the live broadcast. Check that. And as soon as we have 100 people that do that, we're going to schedule this live broadcast where you guys can actually listen and watch while we do a live broadcast. You can chime in. You can steer the direction. So every time we go off on a stupid tangent, you can go like, hey guys, can we get back
bring
to
it
the
back,
fucking
bring
point
it
here?
back.
You know,
And so far, we have 3 people that have signed up. So we're looking good. Maybe sometime in 2020. Come on, oh. No, I'm kidding. We have a bunch of people, but we don't have anywhere near 100. So we need our first 100 to join in. Just go to my website, DougSandler.com, as Strick said. Any of the pop-ups, just check your yes, I want to participate, and you will you'll see that that you'll get an option to participate in the live broadcast, and we want you guys to do that.
And to stay on focus, we have a promise statement.
Yeah, I have it right in front of me.
That you had to write down on paper because all 15 of your Apple products can't seem to keep it right in your face when you need it.
It's up to 16 now. I bought my mom an iMac. So the nice guy promise statement is right here to deliver the highest quality guests. We have some great guests. Oh my gosh. We Rosario Smyrny, who is a good friend of mine and owns a clothing company. He is going to be a guest. Is it this coming Friday?
No, Tuesday next week.
Wait till you hear what he's all about. He's got a company called the Quit Bitching Coalition.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is this Friday. My
Yeah.
mistake. Yes,
this Friday.
7 to 8. Yeah.
He's got a company called QBC, Quit Bitching Coalition, and doing a great job. He is a really, really ambitious entrepreneur, and you will love that. So to deliver the highest quality guests like Rosario and a whole bunch of others that we've had, to deliver topics that you want to hear about, making them fun and interesting, that is our play for sure. We promise to listen to you, and you are the reason why we are here and why we do what we do. We did make a promise never to keep it clean, which is why we usually have the explicit rating. I know it wasn't that way in the beginning, but you know what? Fuck it. We've changed our minds. We like holding nothing back. Another thing that you've asked for, 100% honesty. You can reach us at Twitter. My handle is at DJ Doug. That guy over there, Strickland, he is at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z. And take a moment, don't forget, and join our Nice Guy community right there at Facebook. It is called the Nice Guys Community, and we will also have a link to that right on the show notes. Hey, one other thing I just wanted to mention too. Strick, you know, we have gone up and down in the ratings at Overcast FM. Right now
we've gone down?
No, we did go down. We were at 3. We dropped to 4 in the business category. I noticed that we are sliding a little bit, 2 or 3 spots in the overall ratings. And I think it's just because it's our fault. You know, definitely not because we're delivering crappy content, but we're not telling people what they need to do.
Where are we in the overall? You never told me that I didn't know where we were in the overall.
We're somewhere around 25.
That's pretty good when you got a lot of big guys that have been doing it for a lot of years, or like celebrities. They get tons of listeners before they even know what the content is, right?
And that's pretty much why we dropped to number 4 in the business category, because there's this, you know, the categories like what's that company called? NPR. That's what it is. Yeah, they're above us. So
damn them.
They are number 3. So here's how you get us to go to number 1 in the rankings. All you need to do is click on our show art. When you click on the show art, one of the buttons down the bottom right, it will say recommend or unrecommend. We want you to recommend us. So just click on that button. A little star will come up. It will show them over there at Overcast that you are enjoying the show, that you're listening to the show. Please take a moment, click on the show art right at the top. If you're watching on an iPhone or listening on an iPhone or any other podcast player, if you have does Overcast? Wait a minute, that's just Apple products, isn't it?
It is unfortunately only Apple products, but the whole fucking world seems to have Apple except me. So, you know, whatever. But yes, overcast.com. You can get on your iPad or your iPhone or your whatever. As long as your device has a small lowercase I at the beginning, I think you can get it on there. But yeah, please go there, recommend. Each individual episode helps. And we want to jump in the rankings because we love you guys. And apparently you love us because you're still listening.
And I understand through Joshua, who is now helping us with our landing page, that iTunes, while Overcast is probably the majority of our listeners because we promote it so heavily, iTunes really is the bad boy in the business. So we the big boy also. So we want to make sure that if you have friends that do have iTunes as a part of their platform, please make sure you tell them to listen to us on iTunes. Listen to it twice. It's really good. Overcast, recommend us, then go over to iTunes and recommend us too. Okay, that's enough of that.
It's at overcast.fm if you were looking it up for the website, overcast.fm.
And you know what is not overcast, but completely clear, Strickland? It's today's offer.
Yeah, Doug, you are getting better at the segues.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I've been practicing this commercial for quite some time. I created this micro learning series called the Learning Law Series, designed to make maximum impact. And here's what it is. Simply put, it's my 30 years of entrepreneurial experience and the lessons that I've learned on video, audio, and PDF form. That's 3 ways that you can get more information from us. I got on a plane. I flew to North Carolina. If you don't know where North Carolina is, first start with geography. Then you can head over to my lessons. And we've created these lessons. They're really that good. A company called WeSkill helped me create them. 10 lessons.
Wait a minute. Sorry, Doug. Hold on.
Oh boy.
That was our podcast in the background. Sorry. I'm like looking it up on Overcast to see if I can get on like through the website. And actually I have an account because I downloaded it on my iPad and, so I can get on, and I was just trying to check it out. And of course it started playing. So I apologize.
And you recommend them all. Just go through while I'm doing the rest of the commercial. Just go ahead and recommend.
I'm going to go do that right now. Recommend them all.
160 episodes.
Yeah. I don't know if I can recommend them from the website. I'll check it out. You keep talking. I interrupted your plug. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It gave me a chance to breathe and think about what I'm going to say. So these 10 micro video lessons, 10 lessons, including videos on how to quickly build trust, how to get people to return your emails, your phone calls, how to better manage your time and your life and your business. It's really all about growing a huge business. And if you want to learn how to do that, and you want to learn how to make more money and learn what your competition doesn't know, you want to check that out. There's even practical lessons on building your network, social media presence, and how to avoid the pitfalls made by 90% of businesses that fail today. The course regularly sells for $220, but for a limited time, and that is really, I have to put some end to this. And so I'm going to say that by the end of July, I'm going to put an end to the $220 down to $49 discount. I have to figure out there's got to be some level of urgency for you people.
For those of you that were listening early on, originally it was just through July 1st, but we've decided to extend it because we changed our fucking mind. We can do that.
Yeah, and we do that because Strickland tells me what to do. So at checkout, after you put it in your cart, just enter in the promo code podcast for a 78% discount down to $49. Don't forget the promo code to use it right there. And for a limited time, and we really are only going to be doing this for the next couple of weeks, and we are offering this bonus. If you buy the course for $49, Strick and I will get on the phone with you and talk about your business. We want to know the things that you're doing, the things that you aren't doing, if you want us to. If you don't want us to, we'll kind of stay out of it. My mom likes me to stay out of her life, so she paid the $49, so I don't talk to her about anything.
Well, I think that's a great free bonus, that you get a free consultation with us, and we can tell you straight what we think of what's going on with your business and hopefully make some recommendations that may help.
So you get that all through DougSandler.com and what was it? / microlearning? Is that what it is? Microlearning. You figure I would know that. You got
it right there in front of you.
I don't.
Do I? Down, right?
Do I have it? I don't think I probably didn't write that down.
You were just doing a cold read on that? That was good. I usually like to do it off the top of my head, but you're better with it.
I was reading it. I just must not have the right spot. Okay. So anyway.
It's in the show notes too.
It'll definitely be in the show notes. Strick, you are doing a hell of a job with the show notes. I must say that.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. When are we going to get our intern to start doing that?
Jeez, are we past the 10th yet? No, we're not at the 10th.
July 10th, he's supposed to start, right?
He's supposed to start. So, Nice Guy Community, we have an intern. His name is Jason, and he will be starting with us on the 10th. He was supposed to start last month, but he held out for a much higher salary, and we couldn't afford to pay him. So.
Yeah, we tripled his salary from nothing to nothing.
Yeah, we're now down to cold $0. But he's an intern, so we're allowed to abuse him a little bit. And he's a good guy, so he will let us abuse him. That's
I don't believe he actually exists. I haven't met him yet, but we'll find out, I guess, on July 10th.
Yeah, I just disguised my voice when I made that phone call to you. Hi, I'm a Jason.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that you are going to actually do the show notes and the tech? No, that can't happen. No.
Only if you want them completely fucked up. It's going to be the only reason I would do them. So, you know what's interesting? I noticed as I was out of town, number one, I got a ton of emails, more so than normal because I didn't have a chance to just go through and eliminate. I must have turned off, as I turned on my vacation reminder or responder, I must have turned off my spam filter. Ooh. Because I saw a ton of emails that I wouldn't normally see.
Hey, Doug, can you tell me one thing before you move on?
Yeah.
What exactly does a single email weigh?
Oh, geez.
How do you know if you actually literally have a
ton of emails?
All right, that would be 2,000 pounds of emails, but I don't know what a single email weighs.
All right, well, let me say it this way. When I came home from being away for 10 days plus the travel day, so 11 days, and then I took yesterday off also because fuck it, I didn't want to get back to work. I wasn't ready to get back to work yet. how many emails would be like a normal amount for you to receive in the course of, let's say, 12 days?
Oh, geez. I don't know. 10 or 15 a day, maybe 20 a day. So that would be at 200 or something.
Yeah, I think a couple hundred would sound normal.
Yeah.
For 1,100 emails.
Oh my God.
Now that did include spam, 1,100. So when I whittled it down, it came to about 50 emails that I really had some, I needed to respond to.
Mm.
And it brought me to this whole idea of what makes up a good email.
Yeah.
And what makes up an email that's like really shitty, ones that I don't want to read or ones that I tend not to really focus on.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, so let me ask you, because I kind of was able to like do an analysis of this and start to look at like what emails do I like to read, what emails do I not like to read? What are like some things that will stand out in an email that you might say, hey, I'll open this, I'll read this.
It's such an interesting topic, Doug, because it's so true, and it's something I think people don't think about. Obviously, the first things are you want to reply quickly. Now, we've gone over that kind of stuff. That's pretty obvious, right? You want to get back to somebody right away, and you want to make sure and get to the point. If somebody has asked you a question in an email, make sure you actually answer the question that was asked, because I get that all the time where people will go off on a tangent somewhere and they'll forget that, what the original. But if let's say I'm getting an email cold.
You're getting an email,
right?
getting an email
cold.
Yep.
You know what the first thing I want is
what?
Brevity. I want it quick. I want it short. We're all busy.
Yep. I agree with you. A paragraph or less, actually 2 or 3 sentences, ideal. They said that I did some, let me look at my, hold on, talk for a second while I look up my last.
So yeah, I think what Doug's getting ready to get into is when you write a long email, or if you are telling a long story and people, we don't think about this all the time, but when you start rambling on, you lose people and you're not going to get them back. So let's say that in your mind, you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I have 20 really important points that I have to get across. And that's why I need to talk so long, because there's so many important points to get across. What you don't realize is after you get past number 3 or 4 or 5, you've lost them altogether. And not only were they not going to hear any of the other 14 at all, they're going to forget the first 4 or 5 or 6 because they've got the mindset of, whatever. You have to focus on 2 or 3 things and keep it brief. You agree, Doug?
Listen to this boy, that's a tough word for me. Statistic. Listen to this statistic. 43% of long-winded emails, those that are over 3 sentences, do not get read or are deleted if you do not get to the point in the first 2 to 3 sentences.
Okay, well, now wait a minute. That's interesting because you just said long emails, and then they defined long emails as more than 2 or 3 sentences. Now, I would think long email would be more than like 2 paragraphs, maybe 3 paragraphs, but that's a very interesting definition because that is really strict. 3 sentences, more than 3 sentences is
43% of long-winded emails do not get read or they are deleted if you do not get to the point in the first 2 or 3 sentences. The other thing I thought was really interesting was this. Now, I don't know, do you put a lot of thought into like your subject line? I try to when I send out my my email, what do you call that when you do a regular email blast.
Your blast. Okay.
My blast. So when here's another statistic. When responding to emails, less is more, especially in the subject lines. Subject lines with more than 3 words experience a drop in open rate of over 60%.
More than 3 words. That's crazy.
More than 3 words. So each one of my blogs that goes out now, I've tried to keep my email messages less than 3 sentences, and now I'm trying to keep my subject lines to 3 or less words.
That is very interesting, actually.
And proof is in the pudding, right? So I've been doing this for the last 3 weeks. My last 2 blogs, so the third one is just about to go out tomorrow. So the first 2, I experienced a 40% increase of open rate because my subject line was 3 words or less.
That's insane.
How
that is crazy
is that? I know. I was floored by that. I'm like, what? I thought maybe, okay, well, these are, so one of my subject lines was less is more.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the other subject line was, but it's something like think again.
So if we're sending out an email to get people to listen to our Wednesday show, if we say Doug and Strickland shoot the shit, that's twice as long as it should be.
Twice as long as it should be.
We should just have a subject line that says shoot the shit.
Right. Well, it's almost like it's a teaser. Subject lines with 3 or more words experience a drop. With more than 3 words experience a drop in open rate of over 60%.
That's crazy.
And that was all a part of this whole new mindset. And then when of keeping things really brief, because I always thought, I've gotten these sales funnel. I don't know. Do you ever get sales? You probably do.
Everybody does. Sure.
Sales funnel emails from people, and that's fine. Sales funnels are great, but the sales funnel email is usually 10, 12, 13 paragraphs long.
Right.
I mean, nothing wrong. I'm sure that John Lee Dumas knows what he's doing. The guy's a gazillionaire. But every time I get an email from him, I'm like, I need to invest 8 or 9 minutes in reading this email or I'm never going to get through it. And most of the time, as soon as I see the subject line, I'm just like, delete. Unless I really want to focus on something that he is working on right now. Because, you kind of hear through the industry what stuff guys are working on. I won't even read it because I'm afraid that it's just too long. I just don't have the time to invest. Maybe that's a part of my problem in the lack of success in certain parts of my life. But the other thing is I try to manage my time more effectively than that.
This is very interesting too, because I'm sure a lot of people have the same experience. I have people that I have not either, maybe like John Lee Dumas, great example, right? I have not unsubscribed. I have not dumped him into my social where I don't see it. But I probably do delete almost every single time I see it. So if you're a business and you're thinking to yourself, hey, I have 1,000 subscribers or I have 10,000 subscribers. No, first of all, you don't. And you got to be careful because it's like, okay, what level are they at? If somebody gets to the level where they actually unsubscribe, it probably means they've already been deleting for a long time. And of the people that haven't unsubscribed, they've probably a lot of them have put you in the spam folder already. So obviously we're comparing apples to apples. So everybody's numbers are inflated along those lines, but it's so important that you're right. Your subject line right up front. If I get an email from John Lee Dumas and there is something interesting in the subject line, I'm way more likely to open it.
Well, and some people I will open because, like Judy Holla. Judy is a friend that's in MPI, and she's a professional speaker as well. And she, Judy Holler, sorry, her email subject always starts with Holla, so I said that. So Judy does something really creative. She actually puts video in as a part of her emails. Now, I know that I have to invest more time in a video than I would oftentimes with just words. But it's the creativity that will lead me on to the next level. And she does it in a really creative way. And I like looking at her emails because she just makes it really interesting. Her subjects are really interesting. And it's usually something that I have some level of relatability to from being in the same industry. But if you just send me an email that's like 14 or 15 paragraphs, a couple of the guys in our community, I'm not going to name any names here, but have sent some really, really long-winded emails. And I love getting emails from people because it shows that they have a level of interest in the show enough to start sending stuff. But I can't keep my fucking attention on the email. I don't know. Is it me? Then I look to you, Strick, and I say, is it me? Should I be reading this entire email or what?
Oh, geez. No, everybody. I mean, obviously that study that you just read about totally confirms it. And what's interesting about your comment about video, if I were to open an email that had a video in it, I would be extremely unlikely to watch the video. I wouldn't feel like doing it. But, there are people like you out there.
An attachment though to the person. Like if you had I wouldn't open up an email, a video from somebody that I don't know that's just sending me like an email resume or something like that. But
the point I was getting at was that you can get the best of both worlds like that, because that's just me personally. Maybe more people are like you, and maybe if they do have some kind of connection or feel they have a connection, that they will watch the video. But, I would recommend you do your 3 sentences, you get to the point, and then you put video. So let's say somebody like me gets it and I don't watch the video. Well, that's okay. You've already gotten your point across in your 3 sentences or your 2 quick paragraphs, right? But if it's somebody that does like the video, then they're going to grab the video. I see it as the best of both worlds that way.
I also like to put links in mine because I feel like if I have a video, if I have a, more than 3 or 4 sentences that I feel like I really need to, I'm going to link to something else. Let the people take the opportunity if they want to go somewhere and look. That's the same reason why sometimes I put attachments. If I want somebody to have a big document, I'm not going to put it in the email. If they want to open up the document, they can. I don't know. Maybe that's just, again, part of it is my mentality. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just think that I'm really interested in what the Nice Guy community has to say about it. Is this something do you like long-winded emails? I don't know. I don't.
I find it hard to believe that anybody likes long-winded emails, but Doug, you hit on a really interesting point about links, which I totally agree with. Let's say that you do have 3 points or 5 points that you really want to get across in a single email, right? Okay. So you do a sentence and then you do a link and you do a sentence and a link and a sentence and a link. And so when I first open the email, I see something that's like 5 sentences and I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep reading because it's not a mile long. And then if any of those points, if I need more information, I just click on the link. I mean, obviously they have internet connection or they wouldn't be checking their email. I mean, everybody checks their email on their phone and wherever now. And it's just no big deal to click on a link to get more info. I think it's a great way to go.
I like people going over to social media also. If I can get I know it's personal to move the conversation a little bit more personal to move it over to email, but I oftentimes, especially with the way our community responds and reacts and the level of response that we have on, let's say Twitter, for example, I love when we add in a comment on Twitter and then like 5 people in the community will then chime in.
I love that.
You know, so for me, I like just the overall conversation. And I think that an email is a good way to have a conversation, but I also oftentimes think that overall the conversation can be expanded upon if we get a whole bunch of people's opinion, unless it's just a specific subject that only is meant for my eyes, like divorce court or something.
The other advantage of links is, and some people might look at this as a bad thing, but when you do a link, they know where you're coming from. And so I know people are, oh my God, I don't want them to know who I am or where I'm coming from, where I've been. But to me, that's bullshit. All right. I would much rather see ads that are targeted to me because maybe they've seen my history than something that I have no interest in whatsoever, like the fucking national parks, right? I mean, I want to get emails about Las Vegas or, you know what? I just ordered a computer for my daughters for their birthday, right? So I'm seeing more ads for computers. Now, you know what? I ordered the computer. I don't really want that, but I still appreciate the fact that they know my browsing history and I'm going to get more targeted ads. So let's say that I click through a link of an email that you sent, Doug. All right. So that link is going to know that I went to the website coming from the email. And then it's also depending on how much tracking they have set up, it's going to be able to tell where I went on the website. And again, I know people are like, oh my God, it's privacy and security. And it's like, you know what? Okay, then do it in private browsing, turn cookies off, whatever. Go fucking hide in your bunker somewhere. Okay. But look, today it's technology today. Okay. This is the way it is. I prefer that because you are telling the person, the company that you're going to, you're letting them know what you like and what you don't like. And hopefully it's going to make them a better company.
So I'm checking in at one of the national parks. you said something. You said bunker, so it made me think of something. So we're checking in at where the heck were we? This was at Grand Tetons. This was our last destination before the plane ride home. And as we're checking in, we're on a cabin that is literally right on I forget the name of the lake, Jackson Lake, and the lady just happens to say, "Hey, just make sure when you go into your cabin that you close your sunroof also because we've had an issue with bears breaking the cars." Yeah. So she said, over the last couple of months, we had this three-year-old black bear that's been breaking into cars, but also that has been breaking into the cabins that have, if you leave your screen door open, you don't shut your window, if you have any food in your cabin, it's like, holy shit. I'm a guy that's from Baltimore. What do I know from black bears? We saw a bunch of wildlife. There was like herds of bison along the way.
Do you know how many times I've ever had problems with people giving me warnings that, make sure and close your sunroof because the bear might come in? You don't have those issues when you vacation in Las Vegas or Disney World.
No, you have sharks that try to come into your car. It was crazy how much wildlife was along the way. After 9, I think it's 9:30, which is really when the sun starts to really set. After 9:30, the speed limit drops. I think it's from 65 down to 55, down to 45 through the parks because of all of the large game. And there are large game signs that are everywhere along the way. It was pretty cool for sightings. We saw 6 bald eagles along the Snake River. Mm-hmm. We saw countless bison along the way. We saw a bunch of black bears. As a matter of fact, I have a picture of Adam taking a picture of a black bear. What else did we see? We saw elk. We saw large horn, whatever those rounded horn rams are up on the. And another cool thing is how quickly the climate changes. We were when we were at Glacier. at the lower part of the park, it was in the mid 70s, and we climbed up the mountain. I forget what the name of the mountain was there, but when we get to the top of Glacier into Logan Pass, which is the pass at Glacier National Park to get to the other side of the mountain, the temperature had dropped drastically, and they had gotten 8 inches of snow, within 4 or 5 hours. And this is in the middle of where are we? The middle of June or the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. Yeah, we did it. We voluntarily subjected ourselves to inclement weather, hypothermia, and wild animals.
Yeah, you know what I saw, Doug?
You probably saw boobs or something like that.
I saw a guy who was dressed up like a transformer, and like he would be down on the street and like running like a car, and then he would stand up and he was dressed like a transformer. Yeah, that's the kind of action I want on my vacation. And you know what the weather was like? 75 and beautiful the whole fucking time in Las Vegas. Okay.
Yeah. We had a great time. I'll tell you. And the hotels were wonderful. The service is great. The people are amazing. And
hang on. The service is great in your wood cabin with no air conditioning or heat, right?
Yeah, I was surprised there was no air conditioning. There should have been air conditioning for the prices that we did pay, which weren't significant, but they were significant enough where you're thinking, I'm not staying in a campground here. Wouldn't they have air conditioning? They don't have air conditioning in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I don't know. But they're all federal employees. I think they're federal employees. At least they work for the Park Service. And they were, I don't know why I have such a down attitude about, I don't know. Maybe I keep thinking of, I live in Washington, D.C. or that area, the metro area. So I see so many government workers that just don't give a shit about their job. I just wish everybody had
don't feel bad about that. And if we have any listeners who are federal workers and actually love their job, or if they work with
power
people,
to you,
that please chime in and tell us. Call 4242 DJ Doug and let us know, because I got to tell you, I've had a lot of experience. About 2 years ago, I was out looking for a job. And so I did, again, living in the DC area, I did a lot of interviews with some federal agencies and some state agencies. And I'm telling you, as soon as you walk in the door, it just sucks the life out of you. I mean, you can tell that the people there don't want to be there, that they just hate their jobs. And
on their calendars, 42 more months. It's like they're just counting down the days of retirement. Way to wish your life away.
Right.
I even have friends that have very positive attitudes just about outlook in life and business and stuff. And they don't even like their job at the federal government. They have they have their side hustle in their own business. I just never understand. If you don't like your job, why do you do it?
Yeah, I'm so with you on that. With the federal job, there's a security. You're never going to get fired unless you kill the president or something.
Hey, somebody's listening to this now, and every time you say words like that, somebody is going to just lean right into us. What did I just hear? Kill the president?
Hey, if we can get 2 more downloads from the CIA, I'm okay with that. I just want the downloads. I don't care how we get them. But. And you get a great pension and you get great health care. I mean, it's a cushy job.
Hold on, just a disclaimer. We have nothing against the president. We actually like our commander-in-chief, and we have nothing against him, and we do not want to harm him in any way, shape, or form. Strickland was making a joke, and it was not about firearms or any bombing or anything like that. So please do not pay attention to Strickland.
Have you ever played at the Hay Adams Hotel before?
It's a Strickland Bonner, by the way.
Are you going to give him my social security number too and my address?
No, don't do that. I have played at the Hay Adams. Yeah, why?
The Hay Adams is a hotel in the Washington, D.C. area. It is literally across the street from the White House. Yeah. Okay. And they have a rooftop where, my band plays occasionally. And I'll have to find a picture and post it, because really there's a balcony that literally looks out over the White House. And every time we play there, you can see the 3 snipers that are on top of the White House that are protecting the president. And if he is actually in residence there, you can almost always see at least 2 or 3 other adjacent buildings right in the neighborhood that have snipers on top too, that are keeping an eye out. So whenever we're loading in there, I always open the balcony door and I wave to them as we're coming in, because we come in with equipment, right? So I'm rolling in with these huge cases that could have all kinds of terrible things in them. So I know
they do not, by the way, they do not. They have nothing. They do not have anything harmful in them. It's just band equipment. And Strickland is that good at playing the axe that it seems like it's a cannon, but it is not.
But I know that the first thing that happens when they see these big Anvil Road cases roll into the Hay Adams, man, they have got their binoculars up. So I open the door and I wave at them and I open it. But yes. How did we get off on this tangent? Oh yes. I made a comment about the president. We do actually love the president. I don't know what's going to happen in November when we have a new president. We'll see what happens there, but I'm sure that'll give us plenty more fodder to talk about.
Well, when President Trump is in the White House, they just open the doors and they allow anybody in that wants to harm him. Because can you imagine that guy in as president?
I can't imagine. Nice guy community. If any of you are Trump supporters, we'd love to hear why. I mean, really, I'm dying to know. I mean, I can see in theory a couple of things. Okay. Maybe it's like, okay, you don't trust Hillary, right? You know what? I have, outside of our current president, Obama, I can't remember a president that I ever trusted. Okay. I didn't trust either of the Bushes. I didn't trust Bill Clinton, but I think, look, I'm more liberal, right? I think Clinton did a great job, but I didn't trust him. I mean, come on, really? What does that have to do with being the president? You know, I trust Hillary to not send us to war. I mean, I don't trust Donald Trump to freaking not go into some foreign country and piss off some diplomat that happens to have a nuke who's an idiot and he decides to press the button. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, in Montana, just so you know, Montana, there's a couple of signs on the restaurants as you go in. If you have a firearm, it must be viewable or something like that. It's like the Wild West going out there. It's fucking scary.
I bet it's a whole nother attitude. I mean, when you look at the map of like who supports who, really, it's, you know, the East Coast and the West Coast and the populated areas in general are very much more Clinton, but really you get a lot of the Midwest and they're all about Trump and all about the guns.
Total Trump territory for sure. A number of very large Trump signs on what do you call those? The meadows, whatever like thousands and thousands and thousands of acres on these ranches. Sorry, thousands of acres on these ranches, and on the ranches they're like right in the middle of the ranch, Trump. That's all it says. Big Trump sign.
All right, so can we get back to the topic for one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I got the computer. I was saying earlier, I ordered a computer for my girls, and it's like a gaming computer, and so it's custom thing. And anyway, I ordered it on Sunday, and this is 4th of July that we're recording this, right? So this is holiday weekend. I order it on a Sunday. Literally an hour and a half later, I get an email from these guys. Hey, thank you for the order. We wanted to make a couple recommendations. Like, you ordered this video card, but if you like, we can give you this one for free as an upgrade. And you ordered this case, but we can give you this case upgrade for free. If you really want the original stuff, just let us know. No problem. But here, just wanted to let you know. And I'm thinking, again, this, first of all, great customer service, which obviously we're always.
Like that, you're not feeling like that was an automated response because they had to really read your email in order to know what you ordered.
No, it totally was.
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
I see what you're saying. It was not like sometimes with hotels, when you book a room, you'll automatically get a thing. So, hey, we have this great upgrade, but that's automated. This is totally not automated. All right. This was absolutely, they wrote it. Okay. And so obviously great customer service on a holiday weekend on a Sunday, emailing me back with that information, but also they're offering me something. And I love that. So obviously whenever you're doing an email, if you are a business, because really, we're really speaking to the business people. We're not talking as much about, even though it is important, about just emails between friends or between coworkers. Really, you probably are trying to create a connection with your customers as a business. So first of all, you want to offer them something, but, keep it brief, keep the subject line short, but also offer them something that they want.
I love it. I think that is exact advice. I think it's great advice. I think that this whole email subject is really, really important for us to follow all of these. I mean, I've been one of those guys that I used to send so many paragraphs thinking I wanted to give all this information to people because that will give them no reason to have to contact me back. I feel like I'm providing all the information. I used to do it all the time. And now I get those emails and I'm like, I get irritated by it.
Right.
I mean, I don't like it. I have to read it because I feel like part of my persona, I guess if there is a persona of me, I always say, return all your emails, return all your phone calls. Yeah, but don't be so fucking stupid and send me an email that's like 1,700 paragraphs long. I don't want to read all of that.
Well, that was the other thing with this computer one is it was pretty brief. They were like, hey, here's what's going on. And they sent me a link. They're like, this video card is better. We can give you a free upgrade. Here's a link if you want to check for yourself and not just believe us. Like, hey, we're trying to scam you and trade you out to a crappier card or something. No, they were like, hey, here's the links. And it's Centaurus Computer Computing, by the way. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. I just want to give those a shout out. They're not paying us. But these guys have been great. And if you're doing a custom computer, especially gaming computers, Centaurus computers are out of North Carolina. Hey, they're out of North Carolina where you went to do your video thing, right? I think
who's which of the three is the biggest gamer, or are you the biggest gamer?
Kayla is definitely the biggest gamer, and then Bree also. Amanda, not so much. I don't have time for games. I'm like working my day job and playing band jobs and editing podcasts.
Does Kim ever get on the computer play the games? Nice guy community. For those that might not know who Kim is Strickland's wife, and I know she likes to shout at the TV. I don't know if she does anything. Does she play any of the games?
The Candy Crush type of games, like the little puzzler games. There's like there are different gaming companies where they have a new game every day. I know. She loves those. I fucking hate those. I get so bored, but like every week she's downloading a new one that's like some like new puzzler, and she plays those all the time.
All right. So Strick, what do you hate more, the national parks or Candy Crush?
I gotta say, I've never actually played Candy Crush, but since I can play it from the comfort of my own home, I probably hate the national parks more. And by the way, I want to clarify, I don't hate the national parks. I hate them for me personally. All right. I'm glad they exist. I'm glad people can go and enjoy them. But it is interesting because you went to 3 national parks in Yellowstone, which again, as you said, really is the Disney of national parks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Very totally busy. So even, what do they charge? $7 or something to get in? I mean, it's not expensive to get in, but clearly it's income, right? And it helps fund it, right? The other parks that you went into, they were fucking empty, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many national parks we have in the country?
I don't.
I'm asking the question and I have no idea.
Oh no, I don't know. I know we have many. I know we have many.
All right, you keep talking. I'm going to look it up.
Well, I can tell you also that the 3 national parks that we went to, which were Glacier, Yellowstone, and Grand Tetons, were ones that were on I had never even heard of Glacier National Park before we went there, but because it was so far north, and because it was close to Montana, and because of the topography of the park and all the different features, I love to approach a national park, or at least a park at all, if it has foothills and you can see the mountains from the foothills. Like Yellowstone, the thing I didn't love about that is that you're actually entering in from the top of the park. So you don't see a lot of huge mountains. They have great geysers and all that fun, all the fun features, but there was no it didn't seem like there was any big mountain ranges. Although I'm sure at Yellowstone there were some big mountains. How many national parks are there?
58.
58.
I thought there were actually more, but that's still a lot. I mean,
that is a lot.
You think about that across our entire country, you got 58 of these things, and they're all protected, but they're all, okay, so they charged you a significant amount of money for a wood cabin with no air conditioning, right?
Yeah. It was,
now, I'm assuming that they don't make a profit on these, right?
No, that's also they have like gas stations and they have food and things just in the parks themselves. None of that stuff was, it's like, how much would you pay for a bag of chips? You figure that if you go to like a ball game, you would pay $8. I went to a Nationals game yesterday. They paid $9 for a beer, $9 for a fucking Budweiser. Yeah. $3.50 in the national parks. I think that's reasonable.
No, but right. So they charge regular like 7-Eleven prices. They don't charge freaking, concert and ballpark prices.
No, totally do not charge. They do not rip you off when you're in the park system. I really believe that the cabins and the accommodations that they have at the national parks, I think they probably do make money because they need to be able to support the infrastructure that's there, and the roads are incredibly good. All of the stuff that's there really well kept up, and I think that all goes, that's factored into the cost. I think our rooms, they varied in cost, but they were between $125 and $175, or maybe $125 and $200 a night, and that's to stay at a really good location at the national parks. I thought that was good.
That is not inexpensive. Not inexpensive. But I guess my point is they're federal state parks. So I have to believe that at that price, $125 to $175, they're not charging that to make a profit. I mean, I got to believe that it's probably enough to sustain them. And the federal government probably subsidizes it even more. So in reality, if it was a business, $125 to $175 a night is probably not even enough to sustain it. So all I'm saying is, we got these national parks that are probably millions and millions of acres, 58 of them across the country. I mean, how many do you need, right? Like,
How many do you need?
I mean, really, when it's a lot of the same shit, you know?
Trying to preserve. It's not just how many do you need so you can see it. They're trying to preserve like the wildlife. You know, we have like no bison left in the United States outside of the national park.
You know what? We have no dinosaurs either, right? We have no platypus around either. You know, that's evolution. It's funny because I'm a pretty liberal guy, but there really are some things that I'm a bit conservative on.
We shouldn't have bison in the United States.
No, I'm not saying we shouldn't have bison, but
kill all the bison.
No, I'm not saying kill all the bison, but come on, how many national parks do we need just to save the bison, right?
I don't think it's that. I think that's part of it, but it's preserving. It's this amazing wildlife. Strick, you've got to go. You've got to. No,
wait a minute. Let me clarify here. Because again, I'm not saying get rid of all the national parks, but let's put it this way. It is all about how many do you think we should have? Like, Doug, you're saying protect them, all right? Well, why don't we have 100? Why don't we have 200? Why don't we have 300? My only thing is, what's the right number? All right. Because I hear about these like conservation things where we're like, hey, we got to save these wetlands, or we've got to save those dry lands, or we've got to save these in between lands, or whatever it is. I mean, have you ever seen the middle section of our country? I mean,
it's flat and it's boring.
It's freaking monstrous and it's huge and there's fucking nothing there.
Nothing.
So I got to believe that if we had, I don't know, let's say hypothetically,
let's qualify
as many
that.
national parks as we have.
There's a lot of nice people there, but the landscape is really horrible. Right. It really is horrible.
And it's like, okay, what do we really, really need to protect? And would we be okay if we had 26 national parks instead of 58? I'm not saying we get rid of them. I'm not saying we only have a single national park, but I mean, what is the right number? What's a fair, good, safe number?
Are you thinking we have too many right now?
That's all I'm trying to say. So I apologize if it took me like 10 minutes to get to the point of that. I'm not saying we shouldn't have national parks.
I'm curious.
I'm just saying, do we really need 58 of them?
I think so. I think everyone has its own unique features. So let's just take Yellowstone, for example. Okay, let's just say that out of whatever the cut is, whatever the qualifier is to get rid of the cut, Yellowstone doesn't make the cut. What happens to those fucking geysers? You know, you can't build on top of a super volcano.
Okay, so do you know why, I'm guessing, why Yellowstone is the Disney of parks?
Because it's on top of a super volcano that's going to explode in a little while.
Hello, thank you.
Is that right?
Like Denis Leary has a great thing about like, how do we decide what animals are pets and what animals are food, right?
Okay.
And the way we decide that is how cute are they, right? So like, okay, come on up. What's your name? I'm a seal. Okay. And what do you do? I'm really cute and I can like balance balls and juggle. Okay. Move along. All right. What are you? I'm a dog. Okay. And I'm like really loyal and I can go help people. Okay, move along. What are you? I'm a cow. No, you're not. You're a fucking baseball glove. Get in the truck.
What?
No, I'm telling you that he obviously says it as a joke, but that would be my criteria for the national parks as well. Okay. Yellowstone is a Disney of national parks because it's really fucking interesting. All right. I would be so curious. I'm going to have to do some research on this.
Yeah.
What is the actual attendance of national parks? Right.
Oh, yeah. You'd be very interested. Like Yellowstone and Yosemite are two of the most visited parks. And I don't know why that is. Adam and I, my son and I, were trying to figure out why like Glacier National Park is not a very well visited national park. And part of the reason it probably isn't as well visited is because it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Right. You know, it's like 10 miles south or 20 miles south of the Canadian border.
Right, exactly. So you look at the attendance. Let's say that hypothetically, we made a decision that national parks were too expensive and we wanted to cut them in half. All right. It seems really easy to me. The first thing you look at is attendance. Right?
Seems really easy.
You find the bottom 50% and you don't eliminate them right away, but basically you make them justify their existence. So the bottom 50%, if one of those in the bottom 50% is like, hey, I have like Bryce Canyon. I just happen to be looking at Bryce Canyon, right? And it's got these really cool rock formations that are like really unique. You know what? They could justify their existence by saying, okay, this is unique to this area, to this park, to this whatever. The other thing is, do you know how big these things are? They're fucking thousands and thousands of acres, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe they don't have to be quite so fucking big. You know, I mean, especially the ones that don't have as many people coming to visit
All right,
them.
wait. So I get it now. So we need to just tighten up the parks. Hey, parks, we just need you to tighten up. We need the parks to go on a little bit of a diet. Which mountain ranges are not going to be included? You know what? We can move the bison in a little bit tighter on the land. We fucking kicked all the people out that were on this country before we even got here. What the hell?
I'm going to go for a local example. Are you familiar with the Bolger Center?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Bolger Center.
For those of you who are not, which is probably most of our listeners, the Bolger Center is owned by the United States Postal Service. Okay. And
wait, that's not a national park.
Hang on. I'm getting to the point. Give me a second.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's not a
Bolger Center is owned by the United States Postal Service, right? And it is basically used as a training area for the Postal Service, right? Now, here's the important thing. The location. It is in an area called Potomac, Maryland. All right. Potomac, Maryland is one of the most DC is expensive. Potomac is expensive by DC standards. Okay. And they have this sprawling campus. I have no idea how many acres they have. It's gotta be 30 acres or 40 acres or something ridiculous in the middle of Potomac. All right. Now, again, the Postal Service owns this, right? If the Postal Service were to sell the whole Bolger Center, okay? I got to believe it. Just the land would bring in, I can't even imagine how many millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. And they could put a fucking training site in the middle of Kansas, all right? Where land costs like $10 an acre.
Yeah, but that's not a national park. It's not a national park. You can't even make.
Or they could tighten it up. You know what? The Bolger Center.
Let's tighten up the Bolger Center.
Come on, you've been to the Bolger Center. When you first drive in, it is a long driveway, and the two huge grass areas out front that are literally used for nothing. Yeah. They got to be 5, 6, 7 acres each. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could put like 2 communities in there. You could solve the Postal Service's debt problem right there just by selling that open area and keep the campus area. Come on, I'm trying to be practical. All right. So I guess again, long story short, too fucking late, right? National parks. I'm not saying we get rid of them. Maybe we don't even need fewer of them. Maybe it's, our country is so huge. Everybody deserves to have one somewhat close to them. Okay. I'd go for that argument. All right. But when you get a national park that only has a couple hundred or a couple thousand people visit every year, just fucking tighten it up.
Hey, you know what? We don't need quite as many bald eagles. We got plenty of them. Let's just tighten it. Those were magnificent creatures. They were they're so great. It was just amazing.
You know what else is a magnificent creature? Deer. Have you ever hit a deer on the road?
Oh my God, they're horrible when you hit them.
Oh, thank you. Here we go. Hey, it's a deer. He's so cute. No, he runs out in front of my fucking car because he's too stupid to get out of the way. Get in the truck.
I think that we have gone on quite long enough. You know what we missed this week, and again we missed it. I think we were supposed to cover the 12 worries
that every entrepreneur has.
Will we get to that next week? You think?
Yeah, we'll try and get to it next week. I'm going to put the link in the show notes just in case.
That's good. Thanks.
Doug wrote a blog on it, the 12 worries that every entrepreneur has, and you can go read it, but maybe we'll get to it next week in the podcast.
Nice guy community. We spent a little bit of time talking about the subject of email etiquette. We spent more time talking about the national park system and how Strickland wants to destroy all the bison and bald eagles.
But they're good. What's the difference between a bison and the cows? Cows are okay for dinner, right? But bison isn't?
Well, the thing I don't understand is that you can get there are bison farms where you can actually have
bison burgers.
Bison burgers. So what? I guess I don't understand this. What's the difference between a bison burger and a bison in a national park? With the exception of you can't eat the one that's on the national park. I joked with my wife Danielle. I said I want to eat a bison burger while watching a bison.
Oh.
that's a horrible thing to think. But what's the reason why you can't? I know you can't hunt on the national park, in the federal property, but there's a bison farm. It's not like there's a bald eagle farm and you can have, fried eagle.
Back to Denis Leary again. Somebody said, don't eat the tuna. What? Why not? Don't eat the tuna. Why not? Because the dolphins are getting caught in the tuna nets. Well, what about the tuna? Oh, they taste good. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, we've gone on way too long today and talked just a teeny tiny bit about the subject and a lot about the national parks. So
we'll make sure we put all sorts of great photos. Strick, I'll send you some photos so you can update the, oh geez, I need to do that now then, don't I?
Well, if you want something in the actual, like for the show art, sure.
Let's see, I'm going to send you some bison. I'll send you a photo of a whole herd of bison.
And I will superimpose targets over top of them.
Circle once you want
just to get the ire up of all of our listeners. So all of our East Coast listeners will be like, "Don't kill the bison," and all our Midwest listeners will be like, "No, man, that reticle's wrong. It's got to be a little rat. You got to get it rat for the rat rifle."
Oh my God, vote for Trump. Nice guy community, thank you so much for being a part of our lives. We enjoy being a part of your life, and we hope that you are a part of our community as well. Don't forget to head over to Facebook and check out the Nice Guys community right there in the little search box, and we'll include a link to that on the show notes as well. Please, please, please recommend our show on Overcast or on iTunes, but especially on Overcast. Thank you for being here. Don't underestimate the power of nice. Strickland Bonner, great to have you back again, and great to be back. And can I go back on vacation? I am going on vacation in another 2 weeks. I'm going to the beach. So you're gonna be alone one more time, Strickland.
Don't work so hard. I'll be playing my band jobs. It's all good.
Stop going through my wife's underwear drawer. Stop it.
Well, don't give me the keys to your house when you leave.
Oh, that's a good drop. Can we include that as a drop for Steve O'Brien?
Yeah, we should probably have that as the intro for this show. And people are going to be like what? And they're going to have to listen for 57 fucking minutes before they actually hear us say it.
Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Do you think they could have rambled on any longer today? Blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah.